Hello, students! For those of you absent, here's what happened in class over this past week.
Monday, we didn't have school.
Which was perfect for me since I was extremely tired after I found my lost pet alligator at 3 a.m. He went missing sometime around Friday. Monday, we learned about Lewis structures. There's all sorts of structures that it can be used for. Covalent, defined, ionic, compounded, octet rules, exceptions to the octet rule, valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, covalent compounds, polyatomic ions, and just for writing resonance. But we're going to start with covalent Lewis structures first.
Now, a Lewis structure is a drawing that represents chemical bonds between atoms as shared or transferred electrons. The valence electrons of an atom are represented as dots. To write out a Lewis structure lithium, you write out Li and simply put a dot in front of the I. For beryllium, you'd write out the Be with two dots, one on the left of the B and one on the right of the E.
These dots represent how many valence electrons each element has, as those numbers above your periodic table of elements will show you directly above each of the top row of elements. For two paired dots that look like a colon, those are called a duet.
Wednesday, we learn more about how a chemical bond involves sharing these electrons and or transferring them. Then it turns into an ionic bond instead of a chemical bond when the electrons are only transferred. When they are shared, the bond is a covalent bond. A stable configuration usually consists of 8 electrons in the outermost or valence shell.
This leads to the Octet Rule, which we went over on Thursday. In chemical bonding, atoms transfer or share electrons to obtain outer shells with 8 electrons. Thursday's class was cut short when the cooking teacher burst in and yelled, "J'ai vu accuser de voler mi frigo."
What Mr. Bruno meant to say was, "Je vous accuse de voler mon réfrigérateur."
I was close enough. Anyway, we were attacked by the cooking teacher from hell because of the fridge we took a few weeks ago for, science. It was apparently his fridge. Since Thursday was cut short by the liberation of France, we continued with our lessons on Friday.
Or we would have.
Well, yes. We had some complications Friday. I gave you all a small quiz intending for it only to take a few minutes, and it took almost the entire class period. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, people. Why don't you understand?
Children need to be nurtured. They're doing their best.
Speaking of doing one's best, we drew some diagrams based on the Lewis structures. I can now see why many of you are in remedial art class. After we drew them, we hung them up and chose our favorites. It was Mrs. Autumn's, who has a degree in... what again?
I have a BFA. Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Well, I liked mine the best.
Well, the people have spoken.
People need to shut up. Anyways, we ended up having some homework assigned Thursday, which is odd for me, but I made an exception to my weekend-only rule. Of course, you still have weekend homework, but you're fine. You all need to get some sleep, so the only homework is to study the terms and concepts we went over this past week. When we come back from our short break, we will go over them once again. Speaking of the break, for those of you who don't know, there is no school next week. I was adamant on giving you all a break since you work so hard. So, like I said, your only homework will be studying. We will not be in school next week, but we'll return after the short break.
I believe that's about it. Don't want them to short circuit.
Oh, well, too late for that. Anyways, have a great break and we'll see you soon.
We love you all.
Okay, just, we'll see you after the break.